Hello, my name is Juvia, and today Janet and we are going to present about testing listening. First of all, we need to know what comes to our mind when we hear listening. Probably you think about TOEFL test when the listening part is on, right? Okay. Specifying what the candidate should be able to. First of all, we need to know the characteristics of the people is going to be tested. So in here it says that first it is important to know the requirements that students need in order to take the listening test. This means that you're not going to test the listening part if the student is not able yet. For example, if the student doesn't understand some words or a conversation, it's obvious that the student cannot be tested in that part yet. Then we have the content. In the content about the specifications, first are the operations. The students need first obtain the fulfillment and recognize the attitude of the speaker. For the student to be able to get the listening test, it is important that he understands information and operation that people do. And in the informational part, it says that obtain information, follow instructions, understand expressions, understand request of permission, apologies, follow sequence of recognize opinions, understand recognize and understand suggestions, and also excuses, comments, complaints, and speculation. So as you can see, there's a lot of requirements in order to take a listening test. You're not going to if distance is not able. Sorry. Then we have the text. The interactional means how the student interact with someone else. It doesn't understand greetings and instructions, expression and agreement, the speaker's purpose, understand indications, understand requests of clarification, recognize requests of opinion, and indications of understanding. Others are, here it says that there's some others that it may also be thought worthwhile testing lower level listening skills in a diagnostic test. Since problems with this tend to persist longer than they do in reading, this might include discriminate between vowel phonemes, discriminate between consonant phonemes, and interpret intonation patterns such as recognition of sentences in declarative form, etc. Interpretation of sentence stress. So this means need to be able to do these parts in order to the exam. Another is a text. Text means that what kind of text the students need to be able to read. We have the type of test, forms, speed of speech, dialects, and accents. Yes. It might be as mono, dialogue, or multi-participant, and further specified like a question, announcement, talk, or lecture, instructions, or directions. So it means that this has to be specified in how text is. The next is the text, that it needs to include the description, exposition, argumentation, instruction, and then the length. It may be expressed in seconds or in minutes. The extent of short utterances or a change may be specified in terms of the number of turns taken. Then the dialects may include non-standard varieties. And the accents may be regional and non-regional. So this means that the students need to, for example, if the English is North American English or Britain. Okay. Then we have the setting critical level of. If the test is set at an appropriate level, as with reading, a near perfect set of responses may be required for pass. So this means that if the student is able to get at that level, that means that the students already passed. Then the setting, we have setting the tasks. In setting the tasks are the following. First, set examples of speech. This means that it's important to select first what the student is going to be choosing to get, for example, a good. The selecting sample speech says that it is important to select a good lecture for the testers, also to see the character applied. And the grading as that the items should be clear for the listeners. This means that candidates need to be able to understand the grading because it has to be with the listening. For example, in here it says that if recordings are made especially for the test, then care must be taken to make them as natural as possible. There is typically a fair amount of redundancy in spoken language. People are likely to paraphrase what they have. What I mean to say is, and to remove this redundancy is to make the listening. Other part is follow. Candidates should be in words that appear both in the item and in the passage that the information called for is about to be heard. For example, an item may ask about the second point that the and candidates will hear, my second point is. So this is what be clear and important. For me, this is it. This is part 1, and